Have you ever trusted someone only to realize later that your instincts were right but you ignored them? What if I told you that understanding who is truly trustworthy is not about listening to what people say, but about observing what they do and how they act in moments that matter most? Today, I want to share with you a reflection that has guided me through countless decisions, both personal and profound, and that can help you navigate relationships, work, and life with clarity and confidence. By the end of this reflection, you will know which subtle signs reveal integrity and character, and why paying attention to them can protect your peace, your decisions, and even your future. I encourage you to subscribe and follow along, not merely for insight, but as a commitment to cultivating discernment, wisdom, and emotional intelligence in your life. Remember, true understanding of others does not come from words, but from careful observation, patience, and the courage to see what is often hidden. There is a truth I have learned over many years, a truth that the crowd rarely notices. The character of a person is most visible not in their words nor in their promises, but in the way they behave when faced with pressure, challenge, or adversity. I have witnessed men of great reputation falter when tested, and those of humble station rise with unexpected courage and integrity. You too have experienced moments when someone's true nature was revealed, not when life was easy, but when they were stretched, challenged, or held accountable. Observe these moments carefully, for they are the clearest mirror of character. Actions under pressure expose priorities, reveal honesty, and demonstrate whether a person values principle over convenience, loyalty over expedience. In your daily life, this might appear in a colleague who responds with grace during conflict, a friend who keeps their word when it is inconvenient, or a partner who supports you when circumstances are difficult. These instances are not always loud or dramatic, but they are revealing, far more so than any declaration of trustworthiness ever could. Consider how often trust is misplaced because we rely on words alone. How often have we been deceived because someone's speech was polished, persuasive, or comforting, while their actions told a different story? In my own life, leading a nation through turmoil, I learned to weigh actions more heavily than assurances, to notice consistency where others overlooked it, and to respond to reality rather than rhetoric. You can apply this principle now. Pay attention not to what others promise, but to how they behave when challenges arise. The way a person responds to adversity, handles responsibility, and confronts their own failures will tell you more about their reliability than 100 reassuring statements ever could. It is also important to reflect on your own reactions when observing others under pressure. Are you attentive, patient, and willing to wait for the true measure of character to emerge? Or do you rush to judgment based on first impressions or convenient narratives? Patience in observation is itself a mark of wisdom, and it allows you to separate appearances from reality. By learning to read actions in context, to recognize patterns rather than isolated events, and to appreciate the courage and honesty revealed under strain, you gain a profound understanding of who can be trusted. Trust is not given lightly, nor should it be. It is earned through consistent demonstration, often revealed in the quiet or difficult moments that others may overlook. Ask yourself now, when have you trusted someone too soon, relying on promises, instead of observing how they acted under pressure? How might your relationships, decisions, and personal peace change if you began weighing actions above words in every context? The lesson is simple yet powerful. Character is revealed not in comfort but in confrontation, not in ease but in endurance, and not in what is said but in what is done. By learning to observe these moments carefully, you protect yourself from deception, cultivate wiser judgment, and surround yourself with people whose integrity will not falter when the world tests them most. There is a subtle truth about human nature that too many overlook. The measure of a person's character is often revealed in their treatment of those who hold no power, influence, or status. I have seen men revered for their eloquence or authority act cruelly, dismissively, or selfishly when they believed no one was observing. Conversely, I have witnessed individuals of modest position extend kindness, integrity, and fairness consistently, even when it required effort or went unnoticed. This is the second truth I urge you to watch for: how someone behaves in the quiet moments, when there is no reward, no recognition, and no audience to impress. These actions speak far louder than promises or appearances ever could. In your own life, notice how colleagues speak to service staff, how acquaintances respond to small inconveniences, and how partners act in moments of frustration or fatigue. These seemingly minor interactions are windows into the true soul, the reliability, and the integrity of the person in question. Too often we are persuaded by charm, position, or words, overlooking the consistency of behavior in these unobserved moments. Trust built solely on appearances is fragile. It crumbles when tested by honesty, patience, or moral decision-making. In my experience, navigating political, social, and personal challenges, I found that those who demonstrated integrity in small, unseen ways were the same individuals I could rely upon in matters of great consequence. The reverse was equally true. Those who faltered in private, who acted selfishly or deceitfully when unobserved, would eventually compromise themselves and others when greater responsibility fell into their hands. By observing these subtle patterns, you gain insight into the kind of people who will honor commitments, support you authentically, and act consistently when stakes are highest. Reflection is key. As you notice how others behave, also reflect on your own habits. Are you aware of the signals you send when no one is paying attention? Are you cultivating trustworthiness in your own actions, knowing that integrity is measured not by words alone, but by the quiet consistency of deeds? When you develop this awareness, you not only discern trustworthy individuals more accurately, but you also reinforce your own character, ensuring that the people who observe you under pressure and in solitude will see someone dependable, principled, and steadfast. Ask yourself, who in your life demonstrates reliability in private, not just in public? Who shows kindness, honesty, and consistency without needing recognition or reward? And how might your own relationships, opportunities, and peace of mind improve if you aligned yourself with those who pass this quiet test of trustworthiness? Remember, true trust is earned not by declarations, but by the steady, consistent, and often invisible actions that reveal a person's principles and intentions. By observing carefully, by weighing deeds over words, and by reflecting on these subtle truths, you equip yourself to make wiser choices, protect your energy, and surround yourself with people whose loyalty and integrity will withstand the tests of time. Understanding the true measure of trustworthiness is only half the journey. The other half lies in how you apply this understanding to your own decisions and relationships. I have learned that observing actions under pressure and behaviors in private is not enough if it does not influence your choices. You must let these insights guide whom you confide in, whom you collaborate with, and how you navigate the demands of work, family, and friendships. In your own life, think about the people you allow into your inner circle, the advice you accept, and the responsibilities you share. Are you allowing your judgment to be shaped by appearances, fleeting charm, or convenience? Or are you aligning your trust with those whose actions consistently reflect integrity? The quality of your decisions, the peace of your mind, and even the trajectory of your growth depend on your willingness to observe carefully and act deliberately. Consider the impact on your professional life. A colleague may promise support, yet falter when deadlines loom or challenges arise. A manager may appear fair, yet reveal inconsistency when no one is watching. By applying these observations, you avoid unnecessary frustration, wasted effort, and emotional strain. You learn to place your energy where it will yield true collaboration and trust. In my own years navigating complex political landscapes, I found that carefully noting actions, patterns, and the treatment of others allowed me to rely confidently on the people who would not fail me in critical moments. The same principle is available to you. By observing, reflecting, and acting in accordance with what you witness, you cultivate relationships built on reliability rather than convenience. This principle also extends to your personal life. Friends, partners, and loved ones reveal their character through small, consistent acts of respect, consideration, and loyalty. When you recognize these signs, you can invest in relationships that will sustain and nurture you, even when life becomes unpredictable. Conversely, ignoring these cues risks placing your trust where it is not warranted, inviting disappointment, betrayal, and unnecessary hardship. Reflection, patience, and careful observation are therefore not passive exercises. They are active strategies for preserving your well-being, strengthening your judgment, and aligning your life with people whose integrity supports your growth rather than undermining it. Ask yourself, how often have I relied on words instead of actions to determine who is trustworthy? What opportunities might I have lost or challenges avoided if I had simply observed more carefully and acted accordingly? By integrating these lessons into your daily life, you not only protect yourself, but you also cultivate discernment, patience, and clarity, qualities that strengthen every decision you make and every relationship you maintain. The path of wisdom lies not in believing everything at face value, but in observing, reflecting, and allowing the consistent patterns of behavior to guide your trust. This practice transforms uncertainty into confidence, confusion into clarity, and fleeting impressions into lasting understanding. Knowing who is trustworthy is not merely about watching others, it is also about understanding yourself, your instincts, and the subtle cues that reveal patterns in human behavior. I have spent countless hours observing, reflecting, and learning that our own judgments are the instruments through which trust is measured. You must cultivate patience, awareness, and emotional intelligence to distinguish between fleeting charm and consistent integrity. Emotional intelligence allows you to read motives, to sense intentions, and to perceive inconsistencies before they grow into complications. When you are attuned to these subtleties, you do not simply react. You understand, you anticipate, and you act with measured precision. This awareness is not innate. It is trained through observation, reflection, and deliberate practice. In your own life, consider how often decisions made in haste or trust granted without scrutiny have led to disappointment. The remedy lies in developing a disciplined attentiveness, one that weighs actions, behaviors, and consequences carefully, ensuring that your confidence in others is well placed. Discernment is also about recognizing the difference between temporary behavior and enduring character. A person may act kindly under observation, offer assistance when convenient, or speak eloquently in moments of recognition. Yet it is their consistency, their unspoken acts, and their adherence to principle in private that truly reveals integrity. I have found that the greatest reliability emerges quietly, often in situations of no consequence to others, but with immense consequence to character. By learning to see these patterns, you equip yourself with a filter that allows you to build meaningful connections, avoid unnecessary harm, and invest your trust where it will flourish. Every small act of honesty, every instance of discretion, every moment of selfless consideration is a data point, an indicator that can guide your decisions and protect your emotional well-being. Your own self-awareness is just as critical. Understand the emotions that guide your judgments, the biases that may distort your perceptions, and the moments when fear, hope, or desire cloud your discernment. In my own life, I faced the temptation to trust too quickly, to follow the persuasive voices around me, or to assume goodwill without sufficient evidence. Through reflection, I learned to slow my decisions, to weigh observable actions against promises, and to trust the quiet consistency of behavior over any claim. You can do the same. By cultivating emotional intelligence alongside careful observation, you create a framework for trust that is robust, practical, and protective. This dual approach ensures that your relationships, personal, professional, and otherwise, are grounded in reality, not illusion, and that your energy is invested wisely. Ask yourself, how often have I been swayed by charm, urgency, or appearances, rather than careful observation and reflection? How might your life change if you developed a disciplined practice of watching actions, noting patterns, and aligning your trust with consistent integrity rather than superficial words? Discernment and emotional intelligence are the twin tools that safeguard your peace, strengthen your judgment, and ensure that the people you allow into your life contribute to growth, rather than distraction or harm. By observing carefully, reflecting consistently, and acting with measured insight, you cultivate not only the ability to identify trustworthy individuals, but also the capacity to nurture meaningful, lasting, and constructive relationships. Trust is not a commodity to be given indiscriminately. It is a precious resource that shapes the quality of your life, your decisions, and the depth of your relationships. I have learned, often through hardship, that placing trust in the wrong hands can create setbacks, betrayals, and unnecessary burdens. Conversely, giving trust thoughtfully, after careful observation of actions and character, creates bonds of loyalty, cooperation, and mutual respect. You too must treat trust as a responsibility, not a convenience. Observe diligently, reflect critically, and act deliberately. By doing so, you protect your energy, safeguard your goals, and cultivate connections that will endure through difficulty, challenge, and time. In your own life, consider the people to whom you have given trust quickly and reflect on the outcomes. Where did haste lead to disappointment? Where did careful discernment lead to stability and growth? Protecting your energy also requires boundaries. Trust wisely, but recognize that not everyone deserves access to your time, effort, or emotional investment. I have found that some individuals, though charming and persuasive, seek to drain rather than contribute, to manipulate rather than support. Observing actions under pressure and private behavior allows you to identify these patterns before they impact your life negatively. By maintaining clear boundaries, you preserve the clarity of your judgment, the consistency of your values, and the strength of your focus. In doing so, you create a life where trust is given not because it is convenient, but because it is earned, observed, and validated by consistent behavior over time. Consider the long-term benefits of this approach. Each relationship you enter into with discernment becomes a source of growth rather than distraction. Each decision to invest trust carefully strengthens your resilience, reduces unnecessary conflict, and enhances the quality of your personal and professional networks. In my own life, I relied on these principles to navigate the most complex and challenging circumstances, observing quietly, reflecting deeply, and acting deliberately. You can apply the same methodology today. Watch, reflect, and allow consistency and integrity to guide your trust. This not only protects you, but also empowers you to invest in people who share your values, honor your commitments, and elevate your life rather than diminish it. To ask yourself, where in your life might you have given trust too freely, and what lessons can you draw from those experiences? How might your personal and professional growth accelerate if you embraced a disciplined approach, observing carefully, discerning consistently, and acting with intention? Protecting your energy and allocating trust wisely is not a sign of cynicism. It is a mark of wisdom, self-respect, and the practical application of insight. By doing so, you cultivate a life guided by clarity, strengthened by discernment, and enriched by relationships that are genuine, reliable, and aligned with your values. Now, take a moment to reflect on everything we have explored together, observing actions under pressure, noticing behavior when no one is watching, cultivating discernment, and using trust wisely to protect your energy and relationships. These are not abstract principles. They are practical tools for navigating the complexities of human interaction, for safeguarding your peace of mind, and for ensuring that the people you allow into your life contribute positively to your growth. True understanding of others and the ability to place trust effectively comes not from superficial impressions, but from careful observation, consistent reflection, and deliberate action. By integrating these lessons into your life, you strengthen not only your judgment, but also your capacity for meaningful, lasting connections that honor both your values and your time. To ask yourself, who around you consistently demonstrates integrity, loyalty, and consistency? Who acts with principle, even when unseen or under pressure? And how might your life transform if you applied this wisdom deliberately, reserving trust for those whose actions prove their reliability? The answers are powerful. They guide your choices, protect your energy, and ensure that your relationships, whether personal or professional, are grounded in reality rather than illusion. By observing carefully and acting intentionally, you cultivate discernment, emotional intelligence, and the quiet confidence that allows you to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and self-respect. I encourage you to subscribe and engage with this channel, not merely to follow, but to commit to your own growth, to strengthen your ability to judge character wisely, and to act with integrity in every relationship. Like, share, and consider commenting on a time when observing actions, rather than words, revealed the true nature of someone in your life. By doing so, you reinforce these practices within yourself and contribute to a community that values wisdom, prudence, and thoughtful living. Remember, trust is earned, observed, and validated over time, and by following these principles, you cultivate a life enriched by reliable, principled, and meaningful connections. Carry these insights with you, apply them deliberately, and walk forward with confidence, knowing that your discernment and patience will guide you toward the people and choices that truly deserve your trust.